Tamitha Paul quite likes to speak about prisons and police. Specifically, she seems to despise prisons and police. She has a tendency to regularly rant about this. The political right must be very pleased.
I'm actually pretty over it this week because there's this announcement, and yesterday it was the coward punch laws, and the day before it was the bill about first responders making sentences longer. And what all of these bills seem to not understand is that when people commit crime, they're not thinking about how long of a sentence they're going to get. I doubt most members of parliament even know how much imprisonment terms are assigned to each crime. Because putting people in prison for longer is not going to stamp out the behaviour that you don't want to see.
Getting angry about stronger penalties for attacks on first responders and king hits. Who gets riled up over this? She is the average voter's worst nightmare. She is a huge electoral liability. The harsher penalties for king hits are being introduced in part because one man was murdered by a king hit and the killer got off with a slap on the wrist. I believe it was 2 years in prison for killing someone. That is madness. It might be cruel to take away years of someone's life in prison. It is far more cruel to let violent killers roam the streets and terrorise the public. The political right accuses the left of prioritising offenders over victims. And Tamitha Paul is playing into that narrative. Tamitha Paul argues that most criminals do not contemplate the legal consequences of their decisions, so longer sentences are futile. She fails to recognise that prison is not just about deterrence. Prison serves to keep the public safe by isolating dangerous people. That is the primary utility of prisons, not deterrence or retribution, but isolation. I support justice system reform. Like Tamitha Paul, I want to see more emphasis on rehabilitation and prevention. But prisons also have a place. Some people are violent and dangerous, and they should be kept away from the public. And constantly defending these people is a very bad look. It legitimizes the worst stereotypes about the political left. Tamitha Paul needs to sort herself out. She seemingly has no regard for optics. She has probably spent way too much time surrounded by far-left activists in her echo chamber. She has no idea how off-putting the average voter finds anti-police and anti-prison rhetoric. Law and order is already a major strong point for the political right. Stop playing into their hand. Advocate preventative and rehabilitative policy by all means. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Prisons serve a utility, and sadly, they are here to stay.